Did you know that business owners waste up to 21 hours per week on unproductive tasks? 21 hours. That's a lot of hours that you could be using on money generating tasks, right? In today's video, I'm going to be diving deep into business efficiency and help you reclaim those valuable hours. Be sure to stay to the end where I am going to be sharing with you some productivity tips and solutions that I've curated during the time in my business that have truly transformed the way that I work. I can't wait to share them with you. Well, hey there, I'm Melinda, the Orderly Entrepreneur, here to help you streamline your business one easy button at a time. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. And if you are back here again, welcome back. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like pulling my hair out when I catch myself going down a rabbit hole. One little thing, like looking for an image, for example, can literally turn into 30 minutes, right? Now, doing that once or twice or every now and then is no big deal. That's going to happen whether you're organized, quote unquote, organized or not. You're going to end up looking for something at some time. It's just the way that it is. But when that happens over and over and over again, that's when the wasted time starts building up and you start seeing that 21 hours that I talked about being taken up. They start to accumulate, and not only is it wasting your time, but it accumulates and causes stress and anxiety as well. So that's why it's so important to have systems and processes built into your business as early as you can, but no matter what stage you're in, it's important to start using them. So in the past 7 years of building my business, I have figured out that there are two main areas where things end up just falling off the rails in terms of productivity and efficiency for us business owners. The first one is management of the back end of your business, or lack of management, should I say. And the second one is lack of knowledge. And I'm going to get to that in a few minutes so you'll understand what I mean. So, what do I mean by managing the back end of your business? The front end of your business is everything that people see, right? So, they see your website, they see your Instagram feed, they see your Facebook posts, your YouTube video, they hear your podcast, they read your blog post, right? Those are all at the front end of your business. And the back end of your business is pretty much everything that you spend your time on every day. And so it's not just the documentation that's in the back end. It's not just the documents that you use for your clients or the documents that you're storing in your Google Drive and trying to access. It's all of the things. So it's the client process. So how do you onboard your clients, and what do you need in terms of keeping track of the projects that you're doing with them? How do you store your digital files, and how do you keep track of projects for yourself and for the content that you create and all of that? So that's managing the back end of your business. And there's, as you know, a lot of different pieces to that puzzle, right? It's not just one big thing of organizing your digital stuff. This is how you do it. It's a whole big thing. So managing the back end of your business is, if you have a lack of management of the back end of your business, things can get derailed. You can become pretty much paralyzed and things don't happen because there's chaos, there's mess, there's wasted time, stress, and overwhelm and anxiety and all the things. We don't really realize it, but just one little thing like spending time looking for an image, as I mentioned at the beginning, you want to pull your hair out, right? It's like, I know that that was here, and you keep spending time. Or you're trying to find a login and you're searching your email. We don't think about it, but that one little thing of searching for 4 minutes in your email for a link is really causing inner chaos. So not only is there digital chaos and maybe physical chaos in front of you, you're causing internal chaos as well. So it's really important that we try to streamline all of that to reduce it as much as possible, because we all know there's always going to be stress, there's always going to be things, but the more we do to help tame that, the better things are going to be. So a management of your back-end business example of this chaos and stress could be onboarding clients. For example, I have a program called Productivity Power Up VIP Day, and it is where I do the work for you all in one day. So it's a done in a day service. I'm doing the work for you. You don't have to, but there's work that has to be done before and there's support after. So we have a phone call at the beginning, and then we have another phone call before the work is done. Then we have the day of where we have to communicate, and then there's the support afterwards. So you see that there's a whole lot of moving parts that go along with that one service. Now, if I didn't have anything set up in an automation, I would need to manually write and send an email to the client telling them that we have a phone call. I would need to get the Zoom link and I would need to set it up, and I would need to do that again for the second phone call. I would also have to email them to remind them of our meeting and remind them of when the day of the work is going to be done. And then afterwards with the support, even more individual emails and stuff would have to go out. So as you can see, that's a lot of work for one person if you have multiple clients. If you use automation and you use systems, then that is going to streamline it, and it's going to condense all that time into a very small amount of time that you need to spend with each client. So you take up some time at the beginning and you set up a process of writing emails, putting them in an automation, putting the Zoom link in an automation, having the calendar system set up in an automation. And this is more of a complex example, but you can see how it could take so much time. But if you stick it in a program where you can automate everything, you don't have to do anything with it anymore. So that's an example of showing the stress and anxiety and using the time versus having it streamlined. So while it's beautiful to have things streamlined, like a rainbow colored digital filing system, we don't want to do it just because it's trendy or it looks pretty, right? We want the function of it, and we want the reduced stress and anxiety. So now you know what the back end business is and why it's important to manage it. Let me give you a few different categories to break it down so you can think of other things that would fit into the back end of your business. You have things such as, like we've talked about already, client onboarding, so client information. You have admin information. So you've got contractors, employees, VAs, whether you are collaborating with somebody, that type of thing. Financials, branding, you've got content, social media, that kind of thing. So all of that goes into the back end. You also have tasks and projects. So you have tasks that are individual to clients, but then you also have tasks for yourself. And maybe you have a program, or you have digital products that you create, or you have a couple of services that you do. So you have things that you are working on for each one of those. You have marketing, recurring activities, and then you also have the standard things that you think about, such as digital files and documents. Okay, so the second area of derailment that I mentioned back at the beginning is lack of knowledge. And what I mean by that is a lack of not knowing what to do or how to do something and how that can affect you. Literally not knowing what program to use for your tasks can leave you stuck and feeling paralyzed, and therefore you don't get other things done. So when I say lack of knowledge, it could be that you just don't know how to manage your tasks properly and it's really stressing you out. Or it could be where you don't know how to manage your tasks, You don't know how to keep all of your client information to where it's not all over the place. You don't know how to not recreate the wheel in terms of doing things over and over again, or you don't know how to automate something or what program to use. There's also, you don't know how. You don't know how to use this certain program. You want to automate something, but you don't know how to use it. And so rather than spending time on learning that, you are doing what you need to do with your clients, but that gets set on the wayside and then it never gets done. And therefore, you keep doing all of the things that you don't want to do. It's a constant circle. A few things that you can do to combat this lack of knowledge is to ask yourself some questions like, what are the things that are keeping me stuck? Or what systems are working for me? Or what systems would really help me? Just by asking yourself some questions like that, it could bring to the forefront something that's happening over and over again, and maybe something that you could take as a task that you work on just for a few minutes each day. That could help you get started into the knowing of the issues that you're having. So the lack of knowledge is basically the how to or I don't know of pretty much anything in your business. Because I've struggled with this myself, and I've also had people ask me to help them for various things, is why I created the two services that I have in my business. So I mentioned before the Productivity Power Up VIP Day. That is a service that I created because some people just don't know how to do something and they don't have the time, so they just want somebody to do it. So I have that service for them. And then also I have a service called Get More Done One-on-One. And it is more of a quick coaching solution. So rather than signing up for a long coaching program or a 6-month thing, it's a quick 1 to 3 hour phone call where I brainstorm or I help with tech issues and things like that. So that's why I offer those things, because I too have struggled with this same thing. And sometimes you just need somebody to ask, what should I use for my tasks? Or what are a few different ways that I can manage my tasks without spending a whole bunch of money? Or what would you suggest in terms of which program I should use for my email broadcasts? There are plenty of courses and templates and free information out there. I provide a lot of that as well. That's what this video is. It's a free piece of information. But sometimes you just need somebody to ask a question or to talk to, and that's what that Get More Done one-on-one service is that I provide. Being able to meet with somebody for just a few hours could literally be the difference between you making money this month and you not making money for the rest of the year. So I told you to stay till the end because I was going to share with you some productivity tips and solutions that I curated for you. So let's dive into those so that you can implement them right after this video. Okay, so the first tip that I'm going to give you is to get on top of your tasks. Now, this sounds broad. It also sounds cheesy, right? I'm telling you, get on top of your tasks. But this is going to help you tremendously. Getting on top of how you take care of your everyday tasks and your weekly and monthly and yearly tasks is going to change how much you get done and therefore affect how much money you make. So the first tip is to stay on top of your tasks. Now, how do you do that, right? Well, there are a few things to go by. So my task rules are basically to keep it simple. Keep your tasks in one spot, 2 max. I keep my tasks all in Asana, and sometimes I use my full focus planner. The second rule is to be consistent. So as long as you're consistent, you can use 2 places. As long as you're consistent, you can use 1. The third thing that I suggest to stay on top of your tasks is to roll over undone tasks. A lot of times what happens is we'll have this big to-do list and we'll say, okay, today we have to do these 10 things. And then the next day we say, okay, today we have to do these things. But there may have been 5 things the day before that didn't get done, or 2, or 1, or all of them. And if you don't roll them over, then today's list is just as long, and tomorrow's list is just as long. And then by the end of the week, you have 3 times as many tasks that you even had time for, and they don't even get looked at again. And so they don't get done unless they're really important. So if you want to get something done, you need to roll it over if it wasn't completed on the day that you put it on your list. And then the last tip that I have for staying on top of your tasks is to review daily and weekly. So this goes with the consistency that I said. So you need to be consistent with the system that you use, and then also be consistent with your review. Because if you make a list for the week, but then you don't review it each day, then you're not going to remember what was there, and inevitably something is going to get forgotten. Okay, the second productivity tip that I'm going to give you is to be intentional with your time. Another really easy one, but this is also very important to get things done and to be more efficient. So, what do I mean by being more intentional with your time? If you plan ahead, you are being intentional. If you do not plan, then you are going to end up reacting to things that come along rather than being prepared for it. So being intentional with your time looks like creating a list of to-dos or planning your week of appointments and tasks and errands and anything that you have to do ahead of time, and then reviewing it each day and planning your next day and your next day. So it goes along with keeping on top of your tasks with the consistency that is going to help you be more intentional with your time. So be sure that you are planning ahead so that you're not reacting and ending up being frustrated because you're not getting done what you want or need to complete. The second thing with being intentional with your time is to include non-negotiables and real-time allotments for when you are planning. So, for example, if you're planning your week, you're being intentional and you're looking ahead, you want to make sure that non-negotiables get put on there first. A non-negotiable could be every Wednesday at 2:00, you take your child to gymnastics. And no matter what, you have to take your child to gymnastics. And so that goes on the calendar. It could be where every Thursday at 11 a.m., you have a client that you work with. That would go on a non-negotiable because you can't move it around. Then doing real-time allotments would look like adding the drive time that it takes to take your child to gymnastics. So instead of just saying gymnastics at 2, you want to plan for the 30-minute drive or the 15-minute drive. Another example would be if you have a client, you want to make sure that you have allotment for buffer time beforehand for either traveling or getting your ideas in order before you hop on a Zoom and that kind of thing. So you want to be sure to include non-negotiables and real-time allotments in your planning. Okay, the third thing that's really going to help you, the third productivity tip that I have, is to determine what isn't working so that you can find something to start with. If you can determine what isn't working for you in terms of a system or what's being frustrating each day, then you can narrow it down to start with something. So this helps the lack of knowledge. If you know what isn't working, then you can break it down and work backwards and find something small to start with, and that'll help you chip away at that 21 hours of wasted time each week. Whoa! I bet you're feeling the shift that could happen if you try these things, right? If you have not streamlined anything in your business, or maybe you have streamlined some things and you want to do more of it, or you've tried some systems and maybe they don't work, I am here to support you. Head on over to my website, theorderlyentrepreneur.com/courses, and you can check out all of the things that I have available for you. I have the DIY templates for those of you that have a lower budget need or want to do it yourself. I have my VIP done in a day service where I do things for you. And then I also have my Get More Done one-on-one where we can sit and have small coaching sessions that will help you get past being stuck. If you like this video and want more, you can watch this video right here, and I will see you in the next video.